We just finished the most intense regular season of LEC ever, with every game deciding multiple fates and putting teams in playoffs or elimination. So welcome to the LEC check-in week 4. The week started on Saturday with Team Heretics upsetting Fnatic and Shifters staying in playoffs contention with winning against KCB. After that, LOS RATONES kicked SK out of playoffs contention, putting themselves in a pretty good spot for top 8. Na'Vi winning against G2 put G2 on the edge of top 8. Same for Koi because they lost to Vitality. Last game of Saturday then was the battle for first with KC beating Giant X in the end. Leaving us for the last day with KCB and SK out of playoffs contention and KC, Vitality, Giant X and Na'Vi already locked. But the fate of teams like G2, Fnatic or LOS RATONES were still undecided, so all eyes were on the last day. By the way, I would really appreciate a like and a sub if you like my content, or a comment on how to improve my content. And let's continue with the last day of best of ones and the last day of regular season LEC versus 2020-26. And the day started with LOS RATONES fucking up their ticket to playoffs with not being able to close out their game against Vitality, laying their playoffs fate in the hands of two different outcomes. They need either Shifters to win against SK and then KC to win against Heretics, or Na'Vi winning against Koi, or Fnatic beating G2. So 3 different ways to get to playoffs and many possibilities here, and to be honest it still sounded pretty doable. But first it was time for KCB to claim their second win against Giant X, and after that game everybody knew everything was possible today, because Giant X yesterday was in contention for first place and now they're getting beaten by KC Blue, which are by far the worst team in the league. So what the hell, LeBron James? Now the first domino came to fall for the LOS RATONES boys, as Shifters managed to win against the retirement home SK, leaving LOS RATONES with 3 games left, and in all 3 games they could have locked playoffs. Na'Vi winning against MKOI, KC winning against Team Heretics, or Fnatic winning against G2. Also Shifters now gave their fate in the hands of the other teams, because Shifters needed a win from 2 out of these 3 teams, Na'Vi, KC and G2, and that also sounds pretty doable, right? Okay, so now we had 3 games left and it still wasn't clear for 6 teams who will make playoffs. MKOI needs to win their game against Na'Vi to be in. Heretics needs to win against KC, would also lead to Fnatic to be qualified. LOS RATONES needs Na'Vi, KC or Fnatic to win, just one of these 3. G2 needs to win against Fnatic or KC win against Heretics, then G2 is also locked in. And Shifters needed a win from 2 out of these 3 teams, as I told you, Na'Vi, KC and G2. MKOI managed to win against Na'Vi, locking themselves a spot in playoffs, getting LR and Shifters biting their nails even harder. But for LOS RATONES it still kinda sounded chill, because their fate was on KC, far the best team in the league for now, and against Heretics, which was kinda one of the lower teams, to be honest, in the regular season. LR managed to get their first win against them, so it should have been pretty easy, but KC kinda smoked the biggest tree before the game, running it down to make it really happen that Heretics won. To be honest, Heretics played pretty good, so they deserved the win, but still it was a big fuck up, because now Shifters is out, Heretics and Fnatic are locked in, and it all comes down to either G2 or LOS RATONES making playoffs, and it all peaks in the El Clasico between G2 and Fnatic. And having to be on Fnatic's side here felt so cooked, because you just can't trust in Fnatic. G2 was struggling all season, but against Fnatic they put up their A game, and it was just so heartbreaking to watch Kadrill. I was just so empty after that. They deserved to be in playoffs, but in the end the 0-4 start just was a little bit too much, and it also feels so bad because they managed to beat some of the biggest LEC teams from last year with G2 and MKOI, while some other teams like Fnatic somehow managed to get in, nobody knows how. And on the other hand, they had it in their own hands. They could have just beat Vitality, and they were close to doing so, but yeah, that's just how it is now, and regular season is over, leaving us with the following standings after regular season. In last place we have KC Blue with a score of 2-9, then in 11th place we have SK with 3-8 scoreline, and now shit gets scary, because we have Shifters in 10th, LOS RATONES in 9th and Fnatic in 8th, scratching into playoffs. all with a scoreline of 5-6. Fnatic getting the head-to-head against LOS Ratones and Shifters. I'm just so sad for the LOS Ratones boys. I believed so hard, and it wasn't enough, sadly. Then we got G2, MKoi, Giant X, and Team Heretics, all with a scoreline of 6-5. Heretics managing to get into 4th place. I don't know how, but they managed to do it. Then we've got the yellow logos with Na'Vi and Vitality 2nd and 3rd. And in 1st place, of course, KC, as I told you before. And so now we have to say goodbye to the 2 ARL teams. It was by far the best idea Riot had in the last few years. It was just so much fun seeing LOS Ratones compete in the LEC and KCB to get to showcase their talent. So that's it, and here's what is coming next to us. In playoffs, we will have a double elimination bracket with a mix of best of 3 and best of 5 games, and finally no best of 1s anymore. In round 1, we have KC against Giant X, Heretics against G2, Na'Vi against Fnatic, and Vitality against MKoi. And after that, just a normal double elimination bracket with the winner going to first stand. So pretty high stakes on here. And what's also important is that round 1 is starting on Monday 16th and Tuesday 17th, not on the normal LEC days, but don't ask me why. Another thing I wanted to talk about is a discussion brought up after the KC Heretics game, where fans started thinking the match was match fixed, and KC trolled on purpose because they were first either way if they win or lose, and their owner Kameto, a French streamer, wasn't happy with LOS Ratones being able to play in the LEC because a few years ago he also wanted to join LEC but he couldn't, so he needed to buy a franchise spot to compete in LEC. Of course, 30 million or so pretty expensive purchase there. And I just want to leave my thoughts on that because how Twitter words it obviously is kind of hard, but I think something can be true on that, because I don't think the match was match fixed, blah blah blah, but maybe not on the side that Kameto don't like LR and K-Drill, but more on the side that losing to Heretics would also make G2's way to playoffs harder, and G2 would be a dangerous opponent to KC when G2 manages to ramp up. But of course, KC didn't lost on purpose, I think. I don't believe that, because in the end they compete to be the best and they want to win every match, I feel like. For the players at least. For the staff and management and org at itself, it would of course would be better to not play against G2, but yeah, of course, if KC lost on purpose just to harm LOS Ratones, that would be completely disgusting, but I don't think that was the case. And to be honest, I also don't really get why Kameto is mad at K-Drill, because at first it's not K-Drill's fault that he is giving the spot. If Kameto would have given the spot years earlier, he wouldn't be mad. Just because the world changes, it has nothing to do with K-Drill. And even if the changes were just for LOS Ratones, the world is changing, you know? People in the 80s can't be mad at us because we are using internet right now, right? So I don't really get why he's so mad. But yeah, I don't want to get too much into the beef. I just said LOS Ratones is out, and yeah, fans are just mad and sad, but I hope it calms down pretty quick. I just wanted to get my thoughts out. And last but not least, I want to add a new category for the LEC check-in, as I'm going to give up my predictions for the games coming up next. And first, we've got KC against Giant X, where I will say it's going to be a 2-1 for KC. Heretics against G2 will be a 2-0 for G2. I'm just gonna believe in them. Na'Vi against Fnatic, 2-0 for Na'Vi. And Vitality against MKoi, I'm thinking maybe a 2-1 Vitality, actually. I didn't make any notes for that. I just looked at the matches right now and decided on the fly. So maybe I will crush and go 0-4 with these predictions. But hey, that's just me. So that's where we are right now. I hope you enjoyed my LEC check-in. If so, please leave a like and a comment. If you don't want to miss any new content, consider a sub, and don't forget to ring the bell. And I will see you guys in the next one, because League never sleeps.